What is going on, YouTube? Hat here, bringing you some more VGC Battle Spot battles. Again, these are some old ones, so we're using the same team as normal. Nothing's changed, but the battles are different, and that's all we can ask for, right? So we're gonna jump in. We got Tapu Fini and Arcanine as a lead against Porygon 2 and Snorlax. Porygon 2, Snorlax, Tapu Fini, Arcanine, all very common. All very annoying to deal with, whether they're yours or your opponent's. But we got the Misty Surge going around the field, which is good because Porygon 2 can't do any paralysis type shenanigans. And realistically, I just want to get rid of this Porygon as quick as possible, because if that thing is able to stick around longer than it needs to, it becomes a big problem. Now, maybe this wasn't the best thing to do turn 1, but it at least immediately applies pressure to the Porygon 2, and that doesn't allow it to Trick Room and recover and attack as freely. I went for Muddy Water as well over Dazzling Gleam or Surf or Nature's Power, simply because, or Nature's Madness rather, simply because I wanted damage on both things, but I'm running Muddy Water for the sole reason of accuracy drops. Seeing as this isn't Smogon rules and there's no evasion clause, I figure screw it, we're going for those drops. It's the point of why you use a move, right? Because it is legal. So I'm going to Protect, and this honestly wasn't the best turn of Protect. But with the Trick Room up and the Snorlax high horsepower, I wanted to see if it had it or not, because normally the move Snorlax is running is Return, Recycle, Belly Drum, and then it can either be something like Crunch, High Horsepower, other random tech move here and there. So I did want to at least scout that, and then I'm going again for Muddy Water, but I'm not getting the accuracy drops. But I end up dodging the second High Horsepower, so Arcanine lives to see another day. But again, this Porygon 2 is sticking around, which goes back to my initial point of why you do not let this thing linger, just because it is annoying. And I have been fortunate enough to not miss a ton of Muddy Waters, or at least double misses. I'm just going for the Flare Blitz. My options are Flare Blitz, Extreme Speed, or Wild Charge. So I figure at least go for Stab and maybe a way to get a burn on it. Well, I guess I can't get a burn on it with Misty Terrain up, so ignore that. But we're going to miss that High Horsepower again. The Thunderbolt isn't going to do too much, being that it's a Porygon 2. And we're going to, miss at least 50% of the Muddy Water. And at this point, I'm thinking about it, and while the Porygon 2 is threatening that it's there, it's not really doing too much. So the Snorlax is definitely the bigger threat, which is good that I'm getting the accuracy drops on that, because nothing really wants to take a +6 move from anything, much less a super effective one. Though I'm not sure at this point why he is not going for Return or any other move that isn't high horsepower, being that it wouldn't necessarily have as low accuracy. But maybe high horsepower does have 100%, and I'm just out of the loop. I'm not sure. I thought it was missing, or it had a chance to miss naturally. But we almost got that Porygon 2. We put some pressure on, and now is what we're going to bust at the Extreme Speed and get rid of Porygon 2, which is really good because that means now that Trick Room is more than likely not going to be a threat to me, and the rest of his team is going to go smoothly because we have a double down here, and I'm sitting real good at 4-2. And you definitely can't complain about that, especially in VGC. So Muck comes out. That itself isn't surprising. It's incredibly common. The Tapu Fini is very threatening. We got Torkoal out here. And Torkoal is always cool now with the Drought ability. It makes it a lot more viable, and it puts a lot of pressure on Tapu Fini now. Now, I understand I only have 55 HP, but it puts a lot of pressure. However, the Sun Boost from Drought allows Flare Blitz to just completely wreck that Alolan Muck. So I'm not sure if he was Spadef, if the sun was the reason for that or what, but it allowed me to essentially make that Muck not a threat, and then Tapu Fini at least gets off a Muddy Water. And real quick, I just want to talk about how cool Solar Beam looks from Torkoal with the smoke coming out and the Energy Ball shooting up into the sky. Well done, Game Freak, on that that portion of it. And yep, I just checked. High Horsepower has a natural miss chance. So I'm not sure what that guy's fourth move was, why he didn't have Crunch, Return, something else. But he's going to run knowing that there's nothing he can really do there. So we'll jump right into match number 2. This one's a little better of a match. As you can see up on the screen with the team preview there, again, it's very standard. The Tapu Koko, the Celesteela, the Alolan Marowak, and the Crocodile is kind of the oddball, but you've been seeing it more and more as VGC 17 has progressed. So the leads here are Tapu Koko and Crocodile, and I have Tapu Fini and Ninetales. Now this is both good and bad for both me and my opponent. We both have a lot of threats. We can both deal with each other very well. So now it's going to be kind of a prediction game. Luckily, Tapu Fini is going to be slower than Koko, so I'm able to get rid of the electric terrain. And because all 4 Pokemon have abilities, I'm able to tell speed order, which is also very important because it lets me know that his Crocodile is not Scarf, which means that his Crocodile more than likely is going to be the Groundium Z. So I'm going to switch out Tapu Fini into Arcanine mainly because I want the Intimidate on the Crocodile. I understood switching in that I was potentially losing my Arcanine this turn, but he just goes for a Thunderbolt. Luckily, without the electric terrain and then Arcanine's natural bulk, I was able to take that, and we see that he's Life Orb. And I debated if I wanted to go for Blizzard or not, but I said the Aurora Veil is going to be the most important thing I do this match, and we see just from here on out how important that turn was. So he is Z Crocodile, and he's going to target down the Alolan Ninetales, expecting, I'm assuming, Tapu Fini to be dead or incredibly weakened from the Koko. Now, with Aurora Veil up, plus that Intimidate, I'm able to live that, I'm going to say comfortably. Obviously, I'm into the yellow, but from Crocodile's massive attack stat and that Z move, I lived that fairly comfortably. So this gives me a free turn, or not a free turn, but it allows me to see what is Koko's going to do. And he goes for Discharge, just try to get some double damage on everything. But because of Aurora Veil and spread damage, that's not going to KO anything, and I can get the Blizzard off. Now, I'm not sure why I didn't go for Extreme Speed with Arcanine. I guess I didn't expect the damage to spread out in that way, so I kind of wasted my Arcanine there. I didn't Protect either, so I'm not really sure why, in hindsight, I didn't do that. This game was a few months ago, so I can't answer that, but that was a misplay. Luckily, Hail will take down the Crocodile that turn, so it's not the biggest loss, and then on top of that, I get my Snorlax in for free. So the Koko's weak, my Ninetales is weak. Obviously, the Koko is going to be faster. I'm not living this Dazzling Gleam, even with Aurora Veil up. He could not go for Discharge, which was nice, so the damage was weaker on Snorlax. And I knew the Leech Seed was coming, but there's nothing I could really do here. I saw a game, and I said, let's take it. So I'm going to Belly Drum off, because I know that between Hail and Life Orb and everything else, that Tapu Koko is not living much longer. So this essentially gave me the free turn of Belly Drum, and with the Figgy Berry, I'm going essentially up to full, and then obviously Leech Seed will take some away. But with the Steel nerf of this generation, I'm not terribly concerned about the Celesteela, because I know that +6 Snorlax's Crunch will easily OHKO the Celesteela. And I know that his Tapu Koko is not going to be able to kill Snorlax in one hit, especially that he's Life Orb and that there's no electric terrain up. So Tapu Fini is going to come back in, and mind you, the Aurora Veil is still up, and this Thunderbolt does only half to Tapu Fini because of the Aurora Veil, which is huge. It allows Koko to go down, and now my Tapu Fini is alive to get a Muddy Water off, which in the long run doesn't do too much for winning the battle. He does miss the Leech Seed there, but it wouldn't have mattered because the Crunch is going to come out and completely just decimate the Celesteela. So it's currently a 3v1 with a +6 Snorlax, and judging by team preview, I couldn't tell you what he had from the other two to choose from, but Marowak comes out, and I'm feeling real good about my position, because I know that even with the Muddy Water accuracy, if I miss, I'm still in good shape, because there's nothing that this Marowak can do to KO 2 Pokemon in the same turn, and it would still have to then get back-to-back crits to kill everything else. So even though he protected there, which was, I think, the correct move, because it allows hail to hit me, or to end anyway, and then it allows him to take some leftover damage, or leech seed recovery from the Snorlax. As you can see, even though the Muddy Water missed, he Brick Break to break down the Aurora Veil, but Crunch is still just going to take it out. So those are two, I thought, pretty good, convincing games on the ladder for VGC. Like I said, the team is getting old, but it's still putting in a lot of work, and we're going to continue climbing. I'll be back next time.